Bitcoin weekend update. We're going to start off on the 4 hour, then we'll zoom out to the daily and then the weekly to know what to watch for going into this weekend's weekly close. But first, let's look at the low time frame, 4 hour. Noticing this chart, would you say we're overbought, oversold, or right in the middle? Probably oversold. Why? Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, look, see this Gaussian channel up here, right? This is the 4 hour Gaussian channel. Anytime you're well away from a Gaussian channel, right, it almost acts like a little bit of a magnet, right? It's saying that if you're too far away, you got to get back here relatively soon. Not only that, look at the Bollinger Bands, right? Over here, look how far outside of that we got. So using those in conjunction with each other, you're very likely going to have to either go sideways or back to the upside. So let's just look at the indicators and see, right? Look at right here, right? So look how far we were away from, Gaussian channel. You can't even see it in the damn picture. And also press outside. And then look at the RSI, all your indicators well low, right? I mean, you're looking at single digit for RSI, which is, relatively rare. You're looking at, 4 on the MFI, almost flat line on stochastic. So it is weak. Right, and that leads to big moves like this, big downtrends, right? Even on any chart that you're looking at, the likely move after a big move up or down is sideways, and that's what we're getting. So now we have to watch for what is next, and let's take it just by the facts in the chart. You could paint a picture here relatively sideways, and I would agree, but if you look a little closer, right, we're kind of putting in this downtrend line, and we seem to have done something here, right? And then you could probably extend that out. You have your lows, right, and you're kind of also doing this kind of number. So you could argue that we had this fake out move to the downside. We've broken out of this, and now we're trying to establish something back to the upside. Okay, so you could argue that, or if something's a little too confusing, put it on closing prices, and then you can get a more definitive, arguable kind of established low, right? You're looking for lows and highs. Really, you're looking for uptrends and downtrends and trying to be as earliest as possible to said trend, right? So there's our low, right? I think we're all in agreement there. That's an established closing low right there. And we have a new high, right? This high took out all this other stuff. So make it clean and simple as possible. Low, a high, so far, higher low. So if we move up again over the weekend, right, these are 4 hour candles, remember, we need to, you guessed it, take out this high, 26,650. We're looking at that, right? That's what we want to start to stair step here. So we're looking at low, high, higher low. We have to take a higher high. If we don't, right, if we don't take out 26,650, and we start to do this, and then we roll over here, right? Very likely going to not only break that low, but come out and take this low out, because that is a warning. If you're, starting to establish a new trend and then you fail to do it, that's a sign of very weak market. So watch for that, one or the other. A close above 26,650, and we can make, we could go, wherever. We'll look at that on the higher time frames in just a moment. But warning. If we come up here and we fail to take out 26,650, very likely going to see some, fresh lows, not seen at least on this chart. So having said that, there's your candles to be watching for, right? Take that guy out with a close and get back in the channel. And then you can zoom out a little bit, right? You kind of establish on the lower time frames, and then you can zoom out a little bit to see what the bigger picture holds. So our move to the upside, no surprise. I think last Bitcoin video we made, if we have a move to the upside, I think we were right in this area. If we have a move to the upside, resistance is going to be very likely your moving averages, namely the EMA 8, right? The EMA 8 is, a high conviction rate of initial rejection, and that's where we got it, right there at the EMA 8. So if we move back up, look at yesterday's candle, EMA 8 rejection again. So if we go up there today, the odds are, right, that's all you have, right? No guarantees, but 26.5, right? 26.5 is resistance. If we close above that today, the odds are more upside. And then where do we look there? Well, you have another moving average, the EMA 14 at 27, but the big one is right here, right? That's the EMA 200. That's the 200-day EMA right there, around 27.2. if we could somehow manage to close above that between, now and Sunday's close, we might have a case to be made for a strong opening week next week. Otherwise, this is a major resistance line and should be treated as such. Now, we're still well under the Gaussian channel here. You can see, so by definition, we're a little bit more bearish. Also, we should be a little bit more bearish as of now based on this chart because we're underneath every single moving average, including Gaussian channel, right? So, right, don't get too bullish too quick, right? You want to see an established trend back to the other way on the 4-hour, on the daily, and then we can zoom out to said weekly chart and get the bigger picture. Bigger picture is looking better. That's what you'd want. You don't want your smaller time frames, your hourly 5-minute charts to look good, and then your weekly, monthly time frames to look, piss poor, right? That's not what you want. You do want weekly charts to look stronger than the lower time frames, and we do have that. Why? I'm glad you asked. Well, we have a green Gaussian channel that you might have noticed, might have heard about. We're holding above, in this top half of the Gaussian channel, so we're still bullish by definition there. As you can see back up in here, once we close above that, historically, Bitcoin does not close back below the median line on the Gaussian weekly channel once it's closed above, which we are, right? So 24.3, that history says we're not going back below that with a close. We could wick anywhere, right? A wick could, imagine this guy back in March. Look out the multi-thousands of dollars on a wick, right? So we could be at 22K, we could go 23, we could go whatever, right? We might have a black swan event, right? Who knows? None likely, but if you're, panicked, don't panic until at least we close below the biggest moving average, which is the 200-week EMA at 25.6. So there's where we're holding support as of now. I know it looks a little busy with the Gaussian channel and all the moving averages, but that's where we are. Now, what would bears argue? You always want to look at both sides. So if you're following an analyst that only looks at bullish analysis or only looks at bearish analysis and never looks at the other side, they're just doing it to fill either your bias or more likely their bias. So always want to weigh the evidence on both sides of the chart, right? That's how any analyst should be presenting it. Otherwise, they're just trying to either A, sell you something, or B, get more clicks, more likely, right? So previous 2 times, we've held this yellow line, 21-week EMA, bounce here, right? We wicked below it, didn't close. No closes. Our first close below the 21-week EMA is right here. That's a bad thing. In any kind of chart, 4-hour, daily, 3-day, whatever you're looking at, most likely in an uptrend, that 21 EMA is holding, or even higher than that, right? Sometimes you're in a super uptrend, you're not even touching it, right? So yeah, that's a big win for the bears so far. If we get 2 weeks closing under that, that's another win for the bears. Then you have to lean more cautious. We're cautious now, even because we closed last week, but if we're still okay, as long as we're closing above the 200-week at 25.6. If we close under that, I cannot stress enough how dangerous that is, right? That's like we're skating on an ice skate rink and all of a sudden we hear a crack, right? We've got the crack. The hole starts to happen if we close under here, right? It's time to get off the ice and, work on another plan. Right? Maybe we'll go shoot some hoops, go play some basketball and get off the goddamn ice skate rink, right? Okay, so I can't stress this enough. If we close under the 200-week, that's bad. Crossing the stream's bad. All right? Now, we're not completely dead in the water because we have our multi-month, multi-year, whatever. Here's our zone, right? Our previous resistance zone flipped with a massive bullish candle, right? And now we flip that to support again. So we're still good until right? The hole forms in the ice at 25.5 and we're under the ice if we go below 24.4, right? The median on the Gaussian weekly, right? So, and then we're trapped and we can't find an escape. And if we go under here, right? At the minimum, we're under here for the rest of 2023. So calling that now, right? It's not bullish or bearish, right? I'm just presenting you the facts. So based on TA, this is where the issues start. Now, we're not there yet, right? We're still sunshine and rainbows up here, right? We're still okay, even though it seems like, the trouble is lurking, right? We're aware of it because we're at the 200, right? Back-to-back weeks. But we've been here before, right? We've been here before, back in June, not that long ago, right? Back-to-back weeks at the 200. Now, we need to make a move next week. The longer we're hanging around knocking on devil's door, the more willing he's going to be to open that in said time. So let's get the hell out of here before somebody answers, all right? So hopefully that comes across well, good, informative. If it does, like button. Follow us on Twitter, Telegram, Patreon if you want more content. Let's get to quote of the day. Hopefully that helped you somewhat. All right, quote of the day. I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains. Half empty or half full kind of person, right? It's just how you interpret what's around you, right? Most people think, all the negative news, right? Screw the negative news. Give me the positive news, right? Focus on the positives and your life seems to get better, right? Amazing how that works. All right. Car of the day. If you get this one, I mean, you're better than me. Unlikely, right? Any guesses? Yeah, it's a Ferrari, of course. Right. We've established that with the giant yellow shields on the fender. If you got the model, kudos. Ferrari 296 GTB. One of the best cars for the Costco run, right? Just made the Costco run. They do it every year for supposed to be for Christmas. They're all sold out by October. Model cars, $17. I mean, if you have a Costco near you, the pick, this is like my favorite pick out of all the Costco bunches. I think I got about 15 cars. This is the coolest one, I think. This is the best one of the year. This wins 2023 Costco. Ferrari 296. Liking it. All right, I think I got another picture for the two of you that are here. All right, there you go. There's the rear. Pretty interesting. One of my, I would say it's most interesting Ferrari design in recent memory. Kind of has the SF90 Stradale look, but I feel like it combines all of them. It's like combines the 458, the 488, the Stradale. I feel like it's a hybrid of all of them. Speaking of hybrid, I do believe this is also a plug-in hybrid. So this is part gas. I think it's like it or hate it. I mean, they're all going, right? Lamborghini's announced that they're going fully electric. Electric's here to stay. So you either join the revolution or get left behind. Kind of reminds me of something else. I don't know. Maybe crypto. Anybody involved with crypto here? All right. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on the next one. Kudos to you. Random end of the week video. What the hell is this? My daughter laid this on my desk. What? Does anybody have any idea? All right. Random.